Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Rabenschild and let me push up my O2 reserves and then we go and take a look at what I have done over the weekend. It's not a lot, but I figured out some stuff that we talked about. And I had a bit of a talk with one of the scripters that recently got a bit of fame. I talked with 1WSX10. That's the guy that makes the vector thrust script I'm talking about a lot. And he recently did a video with Epictetus, and I talked with him. We are talking sometimes in my comments and on Discord, and I tested something with him, and so we got into talks, and now I have a script that that was done for me. That's neat. I really like that. We will take a look at that in a second. Or not in a second, in a minute or so. First, I want to show you this thing. I have finished the bridge over troubled water here. It's so dumb to fly over there now, but you can see I have two arms here now. And I got a lot of comments about that you totally can do that with just one rotor. And yeah, you're right. I figured that out too at one point, but I had this already built and then I didn't want to change it. I was lazy, very lazy, but this thing is neat. It's pretty useless because again, you can fly over there, and the thing that I wanted to have is basically something airtight. And one of my viewers, was it Martin Mellon? Oh no, I'm coming totally unprepared, but made a good comment about we could have something that basically comes down and have a tunnel or so come down, lock with whatever, or have a locking system basically that locks this whole thing in place. And then have a tunnel that comes from the ceiling down, locks between 2 points, and then we have something airtight to walk through. And that's one thing we need to test. We need to test the I removed it. I was building here and then I removed it. We need to test these tunnels with the doors. If they are airtight, then we definitely have a way to go, because then we can just basically have two of these nice modded connectors with the doors. And if they are airtight, then yeah, everything's fine. But first, let us take a look at the bridge. It takes a while that it comes down and that it folds out, but in the end I have a nice bridge between these two parts of the station. The folding mechanism is again just these three rotors on each side that in the end straighten it out, and it didn't explode until now, so if it explodes now, I will just blame it on recording. It worked before a lot of the time, so let us hope nothing happens to it right now. So, come on. This is really neat. So now we have a neat bridge that we can walk over. I have gravity up until somewhere there, and I will just put another gravity block on the other side I should lose gravity right now, yes. And then on the other side I have a button panel, and it's just triggered by a timer. So the two groups with the rotors, and then just a timer that basically moves them, that reverses the groups. Over here I've started to mark out the rooms and all that stuff, and I started to bring in ceiling blocks just to start a good structure over here. I'm not sure if I want to have this structure over here too, because yeah, you can see that the entrance to the cave is a bit uneven. I should do more of these projects. In the end, I can only learn from stuff like this. The next thing that we want to try again, if we come to some of these bridge things, is having something coming down from up there. The idea was to have it somewhere here, but it would impact with the room here. So maybe we can chisel out something off the ceiling and have it hide in there. Then we would have to put in a lot more pistons. It's worth a try, but I have to see how much space it takes up, basically. I want to have it in the end have something on the height of these rooms. You know, I'm a big fan of not having too many levels, too many decks to go to, too many stairs to climb, basically, because that makes that in the end doesn't make sense. If I have to go upstairs or use an elevator to get up there, go over here, then go down here, then it's easier to just go out of a door, fly over there. And in the end, I want to have it so that these rooms, these levels are basically connected, so that we can walk through there without having too much hassle in the end. That's the idea of one of these bridges. So why is my light off? Man, it's dark in here. We need to change that too. So, but now I want to show you what one WSX10 made for me, and I've prepared that already. So I talked to him about my mining machine, and I talked to him about the fact that it's something simple. Don't don't say in the end, oh, that's not so problematic, but I'm not good with this visual scripting tool, and so he basically was nice to me and said, okay, I've done something for you here. So what I want to do is I want to build a new mining setup that I can place somewhere. It locks to an asteroid, and then it drills on its own, basically, and keeps on drilling until don't know, a good chunk of asteroid hopefully is gone. I had that in the first iteration in the first world, basically, of my Space Engineers series, and there it didn't work out too fine. It exploded all over the place because pistons clang, all that stuff. One of the things was that it had arms that folded out, and with sensors and landing gears, it tried to clamp automatically to an asteroid. Problem with sensors is that sensors sometimes don't react the way they should, and so it didn't properly locked sometimes. The good thing now with landing gears is that we have an auto mode. At the point I built that thing the first time, there was no auto locking feature. So the landing gears had just two modes, locked and unlocked, and you had to do that by hand, basically. So that's why I had the sensors on there. And I talked to him about it would be neat if we have something that would just turn off the rotor, because this thing is folding in, and then with a sensor I could just say, okay, turn off the rotor, lock the landing gear. But I said to him, maybe it would be nice to have something that sees when a landing gear is locked or is locking, and then it just turns off the rotor. So no sensor involved. And a script could be able to do that. I didn't know, because I don't know if there's a way for a script to see a landing gear and see what a landing gear is doing. He said that is absolutely no problem. And then a few hours later, he went to sleep, because we live on opposite sides of the planet, and talking to him is for me an early in the morning thing, for him an early, relatively late in the day thing. So this is the script. I will just show it to you. I don't know what he's doing there. Again, scripting magic for me, but it's not a long script, just a few words, just a few lines. But it does its job, and that's a neat thing. So if I now go into this cockpit, and you can see it down there, I have set up some things there. I can now just go in and let the rotor do its work. I hope it does it now. And the landing gear, as soon... the problem with it is having just one landing gear makes the thing move. I would have to have a few more landing gears, a few more arms, so it has a chance to lock. It's at the moment it's just a test thing. So it comes in, and then it locks, and it stops the rotor. And now I could start the drilling process. The ship is locked in place. I could start the drilling process with, don't know, an automatic drilling something. And after I'm done, I can just unlock it, reverse the rotor, fly away with that thing. That's absolutely neat. So the main part of this is, again, the programmable block. It runs on its own. That's one thing, by the way, I missed with the update, the one big update with all the changes to to Clang, basically, is that it's not a feature of the programmable block that it can run itself. It's a thing scripts can do. So scripts can run a programmable block on its own. And that's basically what every script now tries to do. It's just a scripting thing. It's not a setting you can do in the programmable block. It's neat. Most of the scripts hopefully changed that in the future. I don't know if Tim, for example, did that, or the LCD monitors. But I know that 1WSX10 scripts now do that. So the thing with this is, let me get a panel. It's so easy. Again, it's not a bad thing to set up. It's, again, set up the programmable block with the thing, and then just have a landing gear and have a timer. And you set up the timer to just stop the rotor, and then you tell the timer what it should do when the landing gear locks. So he made it so that you can start the timer, trigger the timer on locking or unlocking. And I just added this to the name of the timer block, lock, and then trigger, because I don't need it to start, I just need it to trigger. And that's all this thing does. It's absolutely neat. And the cool thing is I could also go and, for example, let us test that if it works like I think it works. So if I set up another timer, and hopefully the nanobots, yes, the nanobots can do it from here. I just set up another timer. Say this is unlock trigger, and then I set it up to set up actions. I want to see if it does hopefully what I think it does, because then it has chances to do even more for me than just the locking part and all that stuff. Okay, this for me what does it do now? It reverses the rotor. Okay, so what I want to see is if it also reacts to basically input. So I come close to this thing, then I reverse the rotor. Hopefully it works now. It locks. That's neat. And if I unlock it now, no, it didn't work. I know what this could be. I know what this could be. The problem is that with the timer set up, I have set it up in a way where it says basically turn off the rotor. So rotor toggle block off. And what this would need to do is turn it on and then reverse it. At the moment, does this thing react to... So if I tell it now to reverse, can I change that to turn on and also reverse? Let me see if that works. Okay, I want this to reverse. Then we test this again. Come on. Okay. Lock. No, it didn't lock. I need to go closer. Again, it's a thing that it's just one arm on this thing, and the surface of the asteroid is pretty unreliable. Okay, now it locked. So that's good. It's locked. Now if I unlock it, no. Okay, that's too bad. I need to think about what I could do there. I could, for example, have a can we stop the motion somehow? Now I'm experimenting with that thing, and that this is completely unnecessary. I wanted to do other things. I think I should go away from this and do something else now. I will take a look at this again. If I can figure something out, I will come back and show you. If I'm too dumb to figure it out right now, then we will do something else. And there we have it again, the plans of someone that knows what he does, foiled by me, someone that doesn't know what he does, because 1WSX10 told me, and I have it now written on my second screen, that if I change something, recompile the program, because otherwise it doesn't work. What I didn't do was recompile the program. So I can lock this now. this should work. And again, this is all my fault, not the fault of any of the things here. Lock it, come on. It worked so fine before, and now it doesn't. This is so dumb. Okay, let me lock it. It locks, and now if I unlock it, it reverses. That's neat. That's so neat. Yeah, I can work with this now and do some work with these arms, and can figure something out if I want to build this mining machine again over time. And now with the help of this script, I definitely have it a bit easier. So the next thing I want to do now is maybe get the big ship involved in some work with testing the whole. Is this connector, the modded connector, is that thing airtight? And we should test that somewhere. Let me prepare that again a bit, just so we can immediately start into the whole thing. It's a pretty junky setup, but I have done these two rooms here, and have the connectors in here. And while basically testing it out, I already saw that this must be pretty airtight, because let me show you what it does. So we have an airtight room here, and that is good. So we know this is airtight, but what we can do now is this. We can open the door and it stays airtight, and it's not like it is connected in any way. So we have already an airtight connection. Now the question is, can we go between these two doors without losing the airtightness? And so let us test this out finally. That will be the last thing for today, because then we know more about all the things that we need to know. I need a test ship or something like that. That will be a thing I need to build too. Maybe just a frame with a big frame with some thrusters and a bit of energy, so that I can do stuff like this without using our drill ships or something like that. I don't know when they lock. I know that the lock is established between basically the big. Yes, okay. The door. This is a 2-piece part. So let me show you this thing. No. Okay, this basically the part that is set in this structure, that is the connector part. We could go without the door and still have we still would have connectors basically. The door itself is just the door. I didn't test if it's airtight without the door. We can test that too. Maybe. Okay, let us go in and see how it behaves. We shouldn't lose air when we open the door here. So this door is open, then we can open this door. We have 2 now airtight rooms, and if we go between them, we don't lose air, at least not that we see it. If we open the helmet, does our astronaut recognize this as a... No, that's amazing. Yeah, that would be a way how we can then build a bridge again, with maybe having a tube or something that comes down from the top. That would be really, really nice. We just lower the attraction force pretty much, so that we lower it in place, then lock it. This should work out. I hope, at least. Oh man, this is neat. Okay, the test that we now need to do is, would it also work without the door? So that we can maybe have just a door on one side, so that we don't have to open two doors, all that stuff. That would be the next thing that is just interesting for me. It's not a prerequisite, but if it works without the door, then we don't need to do the whole bridge setup to make it too complicated. We can just basically have it open to space, and then just when we lower it, it gets the thing that we run into, the problem that we run into, and that's the next thing we might want to test. Let us do that too. Okay, let us remove the door. Ah, come on, don't interfere now. Oh no. Okay. I can mend this. And we see there's also a smaller part we could use to basically see that this is the door. We want the bigger corridor. Okay. It still works like a connector, so it should also transfer air and all that stuff. Now this will answer the questions, basically. Okay, this is not airtight. One thing that I want to know, and that's a thing we can answer by doing this. And then remove this connector. Because now there's no connection between these two parts when it comes to oxygen. So if we want to have oxygen in this part now, we would have to connect it up. And if that works too, then we could... Okay, let me try it without the door. Let me try it without the door. Hopefully we don't have to change something here. Is it? No, we need to remove this and put in the new one, switch lock, and then we go in and do this. I want to see if the connector transfers air, so that we wouldn't have to... Ooh, that was violent. Okay, this is now locked. If now there is an airtight room behind the door, I'm happy. And if it gets filled with air now, then I'm even more happy. Happier. Happier. Okay, let us go in here. No. So now the question is it just not airtight because the door is missing? Or is it not getting air? That we will have to answer now by installing a door. I want to have these things work as connectors too. That would make everything a lot easier. And so now let us go and get away from it again. Stop the whole thing, install a door, and then come on, door. Gimme the door. This is the door part. Install that. The whole thing should still not be airtight. So it is airtight, it's not filled with air. That's good. And the yellow light, by the way, the green light, yellow light, you all know that, but indicates airtightness and non-airtightness. So if it's yellow, it's not airtight. Nah, come on. Ooh, this is so violent. Lock it. And now it should have air. It should be airtight. This. If this works out, yes. Then we can put some major projects basically onto our to-do list. Yes, it works. That's neat. It's airtight. It has air, so these things still work as. It seems. Does the airlock itself work as an. Next thing to test. Just a quick test. Remove all the air. Get this in here. No, this thing doesn't work as the air duct here as an air vent. So we still have to put an air vent in here. I just wanted to know if, because it has these things, but they might just indicate that it is blocked now or something like that. Okay, neat. Now we can go over here. This still works out too. Nice. Very, very nice. So we would need the doors to make it airtight. That's okay. We can, don't know, open them with a timer or something like that. And then we just need to put an air vent into the tunnel. We don't need to equip it with oxygen producers or something like that. Good thing. That's all I wanted to know. Today was a bit of a day of experimenting and showing off and all that stuff. That's really neat. 1WSX10, thanks for the bit of code that I have here. That's a really, really neat thing. And don't know, maybe if you want to have something like that too, make some comments about it, and then maybe he can put it up on Steam or something like that. I don't want to I don't want to speak for him there. And yeah, the bridge here is neat, but again, it needs a replacement that works a bit better. And the idea with this thing could be a bit neater than yeah, having something like this. This is more of a, okay, here, see, I can do this now, and it works out. And this would be a pretty well-functioning thing to do. Good, people. I would say that's all for today. Took long enough. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. See ya, guys.